Welcome to the updated tour for Gardens of Xanadu for July and August of 2024. One of the things that we're trying to do is maintain a general tour of each of the spaces that we have as we progress. To remind everybody, or if this is new to you, most of what we're doing here is actually a much scaled down version prototype of what we want to achieve. This is not the site, nor is it the deployment that we hope to get to with the main project. It is sitting at a different location that we own, and therefore we're able to deploy a very small version, kind of give people an idea. And it's all personally funded, meaning that there's one funding partner currently. So it is difficult for us to do much other than what we have here available. But we think that the data shows that people love these spaces. Certainly the people that have been coming down demonstrate that. And therefore that gives us some hope that once we show just how important this is to our region, because we don't have anything like it, it will then allow people the opportunity to kind of invest in the larger and more comprehensive deployment that we have planned. So what we're looking at now, if you're not familiar, is just a general walk around the biodome, as we've called it. It's the Gardens of Xanadu large dome that's tropical. And the space is about just under 2,000 square feet, so it's not huge, but it's significant enough for people to enjoy some of the plants that we have in there and available. And again, we're in Boise, Idaho, so this is much smaller than most of the botanical gardens you'll see throughout the nation, which some of which are absolutely huge and very inspiring. One of the things we're also hoping to do is by demonstrating our community commitment to making this space is to demonstrate to other botanical gardens that are much bigger, much further along, have much better programs and education, and how we would love to get to something similar, but we currently lack the support and knowledge of how to grow into that kind of entity. So we're going to try and reach out and really hope for some sort of advice or collaboration from other botanical gardens with the intent of bringing this type of thing to an area where most people are not exposed or don't have the ability to travel to see these spaces. If you're watching this video from the website, which is gardensofxanadu.com, and Xanadu is spelled Xanadu, then you'll have seen the proposed plan, which is much larger than what we have here. But if you're not familiar, please see the website. We have some architectural renderings and some general outline of what we intend to accomplish, which includes revenue streams to fund things as we deploy, which will then allow us to pay for programs and actually pay the community to do the things that they love while creating these spaces. The diversity of things in the dome currently is kind of fun. Where we're at, we are greatly hoping to increase that quite a bit, and that includes adding more species of orchids and all kinds of epiphytes. But as we progress, we want to specialize in very specific types of things that people are most interested in working with and seeing as they volunteer, and eventually get to a place where we can pay people, especially educators. We'd love to start some programs around not only the botanical side of things and education around the actual plants themselves, but also the beneficial insects and symbiosis of soil, mycorrhizae, and other bacteria, things like that live in the soil that provide great value to the plants. We also hope to attract and partner with local universities. We think those are a logical extension of where we are and already have programs in place. if we had the funding to finalize the plans that we currently have, we could build out the rest of these domes. And there is a desire to replace the covers of the domes. For example, the industry standard for metal domes is a type of marine vinyl, which is substantially strong and does a pretty good job of preventing weather anomalies such as hail and things like that. But it is not the most structurally sound for things like environmental controls. It is very thin. It does a lot of heat capture. So our hope is to fund a prototype which we've designed out and have a pretty good idea will work solidly for polycarbonate. Now, polycarbonate can be used on wooden domes pretty easily because you can just screw it into the wood, but metal structures are a little bit more challenging because you don't want to screw into the metal or you weaken the structural integrity of the dome. And so the goal is to create something that is strongly adhered to the metal infrastructure, but doesn't penetrate the metal infrastructure so that it doesn't weaken it. And we have that figured out, at least we think. What we're hoping to further accomplish is to attract public attention to help fund. So if you have any inquiries about the nature of the project or where we are spending the money or how we would like to grow or focus on specific programs that allow us to become more publicly attentive and available, please feel free to reach out. That email address is on the website. Also, from here, you can just go to gardensofxanadu.com or write info@gardensofxanadu.com and you'll reach someone here. The rest of the slideshow, we're just going to continue and you can enjoy some of the spaces that we are showing. I haven't described any of the plants you've been seeing because I wanted to make this more of just a general tour, but hopefully this helps you understand kind of what the space looks like and why, as you can see in some of the video, we could certainly use some help in terms of upgrading the space. Ideally, we get to a point where we demonstrate the value and like I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, the purpose of this and how it would impact the community. And then we can create a scenario where we get funding for the build of a much larger version of this, which also includes some art, tech, and science components that diversify the space and help fund it. And by funding it, I mean as a entity which then pays out to the people that participate in creating the space and not funneled to a few people at the top. So this is intended to pay people to do what they love and to encourage them to continue to evolve the space to bring in more people. So thank you for watching, and you can continue to enjoy the tour.